You are listening to Entry 12, The Power of Diction, Why Word Choice Shapes More Than Just Stories, from A Writer's Journal on GabrielleMarieKelly.com, narrated by The Gift of Gab Productions. As a young reader, I didn't realize that every time I opened a book and began reading the words on the page, something in me expanded. I wasn't just being entertained, I was being educated, and this education would influence my view of words and everyone's view of me. Authors who chose their words with care were training my ear, expanding my vocabulary, and shaping the writer I would one day become. What I now recognize as diction, the intentional selection of words, wasn't just a stylistic flourish, but rather it was the very foundation of proper writing. Diction refers to the specific words an author uses to convey tone, character, and meaning. It shapes voices, determines rhythm, and controls clarity, and whether or not we consciously realize it, diction influences how we interpret not only a writer's message, but also the world around us. When we talk about diction in literature, we often categorize it as formal, informal, poetic, plain, archaic, colloquial, or abstract. Each category serves a distinct purpose and audience. The difference between saying she died and she passed away peacefully or she kicked the bucket is more than tone. It's a lesson in emotional nuance, social context, and intention. When an author disregards diction, however, the writing often suffers from a lack of clarity, tone, and emotional resonance. Poor word choice can confuse readers, dilute the intended message, or even alienate an audience. More importantly, it can hinder the reader's literacy development, limiting their ability to grasp complex ideas, draw connections, and build a robust vocabulary. Without purposeful diction, the writing not only weakens its impact, but also misses the opportunity to help readers better understand themselves and the world around them. Growing up, my exposure to authors who wielded language precisely, Toni Morrison, Kathleen Winsor, Joe Beverly, and even J.K. Rowling, was like an apprenticeship I didn't know I was undergoing. I learned that choosing the right word, not just the correct word, was an art. A good writer doesn't simply write. A good writer sculpts language, and that sculpting sharpens the reader too. This is why diction is more than a literary device. It is a part of the foundation of literacy itself. Reading work rich in deliberate, elevated diction has real-world effects. It helps young readers develop stronger comprehension skills, encourages nuanced thinking, and improves their ability to articulate their own ideas. In an era when communication is increasingly abbreviated, text, tweets, sound bites, the power of choosing the right word has never been more essential. For writers, diction is our signature. It's how we show instead of tell. It's how we build trust with readers. And for readers, it's a training ground for empathy, critical thought, and expression. That's why we must defend the role of rich, intentional language in education and entertainment alike. So, the next time you come across a line that makes you pause, not because it's complex, but because it's perfect, thank the author's diction. It's doing more than you think. Discussion. Can you recall a book or author whose word choices shaped the way you think, speak, or write? How did their diction influence you?